and that is 7 o'clock exactly. So, hello everybody, and welcome to Now and Then, our LGBT plus History Month cabaret. My name is Marcella Rick, and I'll be your host for this evening. I am a white, non-binary person with ginger hair and a colourful jumper on. Live captions are available on this Zoom, and the event includes BSL interpretation by the fantastic Cheryl, who will be pinned throughout. We have 5 brilliant artists with us tonight, and I'll introduce each act, and they'll share an audio description of themselves before they begin their performance. We have been just so excited to plan this event, and we would love to know what you think. So there is a survey that we'll share in the chat towards the end of the night, and we'd love it if you could take a couple of minutes to fill that out, please. So, with my big spiel out the way, I am buzzing to introduce our first performer. Evan Gwen is a poet, writer, and actor who has been scribbling away stories and poems of identity, pride, and finding yourself in the scary and the humorous. As a content notice, Evan would like to let you know that their performance will include themes of death. And with that being said, please give them a nice warm welcome to Evan Gwen.
Hi, everybody. Nice for you all to be here. This is the first time I've done anything like this, so this is very exciting. I'm just going to get going with my first poem, which I wrote to kind of bring a bit of hope to myself during a hard winter day. So this is called Things Are Hard Right Now. Things are hard right now. Winter is laying down heavy on our heads like concrete over soil. The world is stretched, thin with pain, blood seen through the skin. I won't lie and say it's going to get better quickly. I also won't lie and say it has to get worse first. After winter, there will be spring, and concrete has no chance against a weed. We will be fed again, fattened up to protect us from the cold. Things are hard right now, but we can push back harder. So that's the first one. The next story is called poem. The next poem is called Little Red, and it's about being trans and kind of finding yourself in the monstrous, as a lot of queer people often do. At least I do. Okay. I told a story once about a little girl. She would watch the wolf lurk in between the trees, but the feeling in her chest was not the fear of being eaten, the feeling everyone in the village carried like a flame. She would watch patches of fur silver in the moonlight sneak a glimpse of star-yellow eye. How could anyone be afraid of the dark when the night is so beautiful? When she bared her teeth in the mirror, he almost wished to see fangs. So that's the second. The next one is a small one and is a bit lighter. It's called Gender Jacket and is about when you're gender weird, as I like to call myself. Okay. Size 14 in the women's section, whatever the fuck that means. 36-inch shoulders in the men's section, somehow still looking like a kid in their dad's jacket. So I pick up the scissors and needle and thread, and like Frankenstein, I craft a suit that fits like a glove. I am politely asked to leave the shop. Okay. The next one is also about being queer and is called Ode to the Gay Section. I would secretly watch gay films on Netflix when I was a teenager, hands shaking as I played the latest indie low-budget foreign flick full of hands barely touching and kisses behind closed doors. Always in secret, behind a closed door, headphones held tight to my ears, volume down low, listening for the click of the doorknob. It's always about the door being opened, the warmth of recognition. But I found warmth in sharing the dark. a hand brushing against another in a cinema, skin touching skin under the TV's glow, my hand brushing my own jaw like a lover I was too afraid to imagine. I look at the gay section now and am slightly overcome. I saw two boys kiss on a cinema screen without either of them dying for the first time in university. I have the choice of calling a film shit, even if there's a woman with an undercut and an ex-girlfriend in the ensemble. I have realized that there is a cacophony of voices, both alike and unlike mine, a million hands to hold, skin glowing colors unimagined. I wonder how many more teenagers can now find kindness in the dark to ready them for the light on the other side of the door. And I hope that they all know about 123movies.com. So that's the next one. Yeah, that one was very much if you grew up queer as a teenager in the 2000s, you know all about the gay section on Netflix. so many French films. Yes, the next one is called Love Songs Are For My Friends, and it is specifically about as someone who falls on the aromantic spectrum, romance comes a bit differently to me than how society expects it. And I kind of wanted to write my own love poem that isn't necessarily about the type of love people expect. Okay. Romance doesn't come easy to me, at least not in the way it's supposed to be. For me, I don't fantasize of marriage, kids, a white picket fence lined with roses for the bees. But romance comes so easy for me. When I see my friends swimming in the sea, salt-dried skin and sunset eyes filling me up like an ocean, a balloon sitting next to them with a warm cup of tea. For romance holds my heart, you see, but platonically, mostly. I'd write 1,000 love songs for my friends, my heart, maybe a lover at some point, maybe. And fortunately, this romance is for me. The next one is also about kind of my friends. It's about finding that connection with someone else who you grow up and realize you're queer with, and then you realize birds of a feather flock together. And this is called Birds of a Feather. No relation to the Billie Eilish song. I think there is this fundamental otherness held safe somewhere between my ribs and my lungs. Something that can be sensed, bloodhounds easily tracking the scent. It tucks itself away, hidden in books, hidden in wishes, hidden in fantasies and fan fiction, in a gaze as it noticed a friend's flat chest for the first time. And suddenly this otherness blooms, blossoming in haircuts, blossoming in colors, blossoming in a smile as you tell your friend your real name for the first time. Maybe this otherness is a sameness only needing another other. Thank you. Okay, I have one last poem. It's a bit of a longer one. This one is about, well, it was inspired by the discussion about assisted suicide, assisted euthanasia, and my kind of thought process of that as a disabled person. And also about the concept of society as a whole and things we can do to make things better for others. Yeah. So this is called The Stairway to Heaven Has No Lift. They put me down the other day, like a dog, like a mutt, found on the street riddled with mange. What life would it live? They asked as they sent me off to sleep. What would it do as my veins grew cold? What use is it to anyone like this? What use am I, staring up at the pearly gates 100 steps above? Maybe if I crawl, dig my knees into the hard marble, praying the whole way for absolution from the sin of my aching bones. Would St. John tut at my tardiness? Turn his back as I try to squeeze between the bars? What if I turned around? Simply refused to sleep? Make like Lucifer and go the way my body wishes, down to the ground, down to solid earth. I never liked heights. Slam my unwanted body back into life, a heaven of our own design. My friend pushes my chair down to the shops, the one I got for free and the one light enough to use. There are no cracks in the pavement. We are laughing at a joke while spring breeze cools our skin. My cane sticks out the back and I feel no gazes as I stand to grab a tin of peaches. He is having surgery, top surgery, the next day. I'm able to pick him up from the hospital car park. The nurses all use his real name. They give him a wedged pillow as he leaves. Recovery is easy, as was the waiting time. My mother cannot work, her fingers tight, rebelling against themselves. She lives comfortably, resting enough to take up knitting for the first time in years, her home fitting snugly around her, as solid as her own ribcage. A stranger is in an emergency room, their body flaring like a beacon. Tears prick their eyes from the pain, but not from the nurse, who speaks kindly, who listens, who doesn't assume their skin is proof of lying. They are not charged as they sit in the MRI machine, nor when they are handed the certificate of understanding their body by a doctor that is willing to know he can be wrong. A primary school puts on a nativity. The angel Gabriel signs their lines, and everyone understands. We do not need heaven. We just need a lift. That's it. Thank you very much for listening. Good luck to the other artists.
Thank you so much, Evan. That was absolutely gorgeous. There were so many lovely lines in there. I particularly loved I'd write 1,000 love songs for my friends. I just thought that was gorgeous. Lots of lovely comments as well. I'm really sorry if anybody's had difficulty adding comments to the chat. That's something we've been working on. But there are some great comments. Kate said, beautiful poem. Evan loved the metaphor of the weed pushing through the concrete, so hopeful. B said, powerful and rightfully angry. Becky said, loved the powerful poetry and yes, the gay section, which I really resonate with. If you loved Evan's work, they are currently focused on publishing creative nonfiction essays on their website, so I will post a link to that if you would like to have a read. Now, next up, we've got that brilliant Becky Downen. Becky is a queer, neurodivergent, multidisciplinary artist and filmmaker from Liverpool. Much of their work centres around collaboration and community, and they've got some absolutely gorgeous poetry to share with us this evening. So, without further ado, please welcome Becky Downen.
Oh, thank you, Marsh. That's a really, really lovely introduction. Hi, my name is Beck. I am a white non-binary person with long dark hair, and I'm wearing big pink glasses, a green striped rugby shirt, and some chunky silver rings, and I have a Scouse accent. So yeah, I'm going to do 3 poems for you today. Thank you so much for having me. The first poem that I'm going to do, I actually started this poem years ago, and I just couldn't quite finish it. And then very recently, I've done a lot of work to kind of understand what dysphoria and body dysmorphia means to me, and I managed to finish the poem, and so I'm sharing it for the first time with you guys, and thank you so much. But yeah, it's about masking as a mode of survival with dysphoria. And when she comes back, it's called Scouse Bird. She's emerged from the ribcage, a Scouse bird. Still uses she, her pronouns, and will never let us forget that we were once small enough to fit inside there with her. This bitch is crazy. Dons rollers and uses hairspray as liberally as though it were lighter fluid. She snuck out in the night through the belly button during a conversation about babies, clawed her way out with hot pink acrylic, left a slime trail of fake tan and innards in her wake. She makes friends with my womb in secret, conspiring in the darkness, and I sometimes hear her chatting to my stomach in guttural numbers, measurements, calories. Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, she croons, sucking in her cheeks and biting down on an intestine. She would have us back there in a second, bundle us up in the pages of an old Cosmo and smuggle us gassed on perfumed canisters from Oman Bargains and armed with a set of tweezers and two spiky, jealous fingers. But secretly, I hear her crying sometimes too. Echoing in the school lavatory, a fake eyelash stuck to the mirror, possibly about a boy that didn't love us back or a boy we couldn't force ourselves to love. She screeches round corridors, sometimes in terror, running from her own shadow, leaving behind the debris of ingrown hair and thin enamel. She is brash, but she's pretending. She is wounded too and did the best she could at the time. She doesn't want to be left behind in the dark, and she cries out like a baby to be seen and held. She doesn't belong anywhere and lives in memories, colours them in green, vomits up WKD on the walls and makes them blurry, helps us to forget. But she thinks she knows best. She doesn't have a home anymore and flies around aimlessly looking for other nests to lay eggs in or eat theirs. She plays tricks in my mind, leaves pink bunting up in places for me to find, graffitis and lipsticks, steals pubic hair and gives it a curly blow. She is lonely. So I let her live in my ribcage where I used to until her next escape attempt, which may be any day now. Thank you for listening. That was my first poem. My second poem that I'm going to share with you tonight is called Trinkets. And this poem I wrote a little while ago. It's about searching for answers and finding more questions. It's about trying to tidy your room and ended up making more mess, but in the scheme of life. And I have ADHD, so this is an endless experience for me. But yeah, this poem is called Trinkets. I lose everything all the time. Phones, keys, passes end up in fridges, left on the back of the 86 bus or in the depths of my last night out. I somehow managed to lose time despite having a constant eye on it, its weight on my wrist, pressed into my palm by my phone screen. Seconds tick along each vertebrae, pinging as they drop to the floor in moments. And I'm left standing on the shards of a muddled Blythe in bare feet in a Dali-esque scene. My memory is a fog, often. I piece myself together through kaleidoscopic haze as I consult the blind spots and graze the edges of my brain, disturbing the forgotten things from their burial place with soil beneath my fingernails. I press the petal of a blossom tree between my thumb and forefinger just to search for that sensation, the comfort of a touch, the intimacy I can't find for myself within the pages of my mother's much-loved romance novels, folded over, coy, hiding. I watch my parents from their bedroom door, open wardrobes on either side of the room, pulling out clothes from opposite ends of the binary, a habit that is warm, cozy. And as I watch them mosey on and amble through their normalcy, a life I know I'll never have aches in my stomach. I am the odd sock, the lost glove, the forgotten scarf in the back of the wardrobe, a bought on a whim garment that's unsuitable for all occasions, too bright, too loud, ill-fitting. I don't seem to go with anything. The category is dressy up box. Searching the wreckage of my costumed hoard for lost items, I uncover old boyfriends, eyelashes, fake tan, high heels, being sexualized at 13 by men in white vans, and grimaces at my short nails, roaming hands and shouts of leisure in the changing rooms, laughter at my music taste, wallpaper with scantily clad anime women, heartache, watching two men kiss on Hollyoaks and hearing the disgust rise in my loving father's throat in a splutter, and the panicked putter of remote buttons clattering as the channel is changed. The Holy Gospel, according to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. In the compartments hidden at the bottom, I denuded the scent of hair coconut shampoo, chlorine-coated strands of hair. Being the priest in the playground while the other boys and girls got married to each other, being asked if I was a boy or a girl or other, fragments of myself that felt less complicated, softer, before I knew what other meant. Before I started losing things, cramming under floorboards, into pillowcases, and then later into spaces underground, basements, nightclubs, sticky floored so-called havens, which offered some respite in the darkness of a colourful night's embrace, a chance to blossom privately, where I found others, but not quite home. Even though they told me it was, even though they told me I belonged, as they moved me rainbow vomit clad into the back of a hailed down taxi with no recollections of the night at all. Even though this space was supposed to fit my trinkets, somehow I kept on losing things. Body parts this time, a finger trailing the corner of an unknown sheet, a cheek pressed against the pane of a basement window, a mouth lost for words, wondering, why do they keep us underground? Where our bodies are buried in the sound of anthems in the bunkers we're supposed to call our home. And meanwhile, elsewhere, a self-appointed executioner hides the body of a 20-year-old queer boy forever, who was also searching. And closer to home, two women are cornered on a bus. And in the classroom of my all-girls Catholic high school, I am squashed. And when Bobby puts his hand into the hand of another boy's, his boyfriend is shot. And when I search my parents' eyes for answers, I can't find them, or at least they're not the ones I'm looking for. And really, there may never be a space for us that is allowed above ground and not crammed, pinched, clustered, hidden, tucked, cordoned off, or segregated from the world. And we may never find the answers that we seek in this complex unpicking of our erstwhile selves that we left behind in the wastelands, shed like old skin, stepped out of gingerly to be rawer, braver, more ourselves. And maybe I'll always leave my phone inside the freezer or my keys in the saucepan or any other space they're not supposed to be. Because we're one too many clothes for a dressy up box, and we don't like to count time in a clockwise direction, but rather let time misbehave. We don't fit in shoe boxes, under floorboards, or in our parents' closets. We bend, we splurge, we are the charmed quark, the strange, we twirl, we rally, and we get lost on purpose, searching for trinkets. Thank you so much. And thank you, Cheryl, as well. So this last poem that I'm going to do is a recent one that I wrote. It's a really difficult time to be, well, to just be in the world at the moment anyway, let's be real. It's a hard time in the world. But it's a hard time at the minute for queer people, and particularly the trans community, with all of these new laws and legislations and this kind of inherent feeling of threat, and it has felt and can feel incredibly overwhelming to watch your friends and loved ones having their rights stripped away. And so this last poem is it's born out of not finding the words but having the songs. So yeah, this is a love letter, and it's called Trans Love is Music. Trans love has no algorithm. It beats its own drum to the sound of the dance floor. Abracadabra, we've arrived. Let's have a fucking kiki. We are immaterial magic sang out in lullabies. We are not a letter in the alphabet. We are many sounds and shapes and assonant, dissonant, chordal progressions. We are Sophie. We are pink ponies flying onto set without a stirrup. We have our own chapel to go to. We cannot be measured by the length of an an application form made from pixels that we predate by millennia. We are hybrids, fluctuations of a scale. We are running up that hill. We are Gaga. We are the heartbeat and the rhythm of the night. We are angels and we will be loved. We will be loved. You cannot find us in your pocket. We are the breath that whispered songs woven into the fabric. We are not illegal. We are very, very real. Bass notes and drones and metal. We are the ringing in your ears after a concert you snuck out to see when no one else was watching. We may not get to choose between your penciled lines, but we will tip them on the side and spill out crotchets, minims, treble clefs, bass notes, crescendos in deep blue ink. You want us to hide, but we are already pierced into the tip of your eardrum, painted onto the toenails of your tapping feet, sweat smeared onto fingertips from dancers' backs and on the forehead of a raver. We may not be seen, but we will be heard in endless, bursting birdsong. If you ever feel danger or fear, you can find us in the soft crooning of muffled lips into a lover's elbow and every happy birthday that there ever was. Inside the murmur of a kiss and Grammy Award speeches by the greats and in the whistle of the wind, we are surround sound. We are an anthem. We are the song stuck in your head and we are both the melody and its ever moving harmonic shift. We are records, CDs, mixtapes, symphonies, sheet music, gramophones, playlists shared by friends, and songs passed down from generations before us. So listen. Thank you so much, and thank you, Cheryl, and thank you for having me, everyone.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Becky. It is always gorgeous to hear Becky's poetry. They've got such a distinct rhythmic voice and impeccable storytelling. And the chat is filled with just all these beautiful lines that people are pulling out. So thank you, Becky. We've also had Kate who said, amazing poem. Every line is so incisive and spot on. Julie said, excellent poem, Becky. Well worth finishing. Evan said, really raw and lovely. Rare to get both in one poem. And Jay said, woohoo, amazing. And I am the lost sock, which I'm sure we're all relating to. Really beautiful. Thank you so much. And now next up, I'm really buzzing to introduce B. Jones, a writer who has their finger in many pies, from video editing to production design, facilitation, and more. B has a really fantastic spoken word story to share with us tonight, which I'm really excited for you all to hear. Please do note that their performance will include allusions to genocide, police profiling, brutality, racism, and health anxiety, alongside discussions of transphobia, homophobia, self-deprecation, and some sexual language. It's a really gorgeous piece of storytelling and I can't wait for you all to experience it. So without further ado, please give B a warm welcome.
Thank you so very, very much, Marcy. It's really exciting to be here. Hello, invisible audience. My name is Laura B. Jones, but you can call me B. That's a recent tweak to my name, but as all trans people know, you can tweak your name when you fancy it. I have long, curly, kind of dark brown hair with roundish glasses. I have a dark purple and navy checkered top for the lesbian vibes, and under that as well as an undershirt is just a kind of blue patterned frilly vest. And I have a very posh voice despite coming from Norfolk. And I'm very excited to read my piece. It's one long big piece, and I won't give anything away, but if the audience can shrink themselves down for this one, I'd appreciate it. Oh, and I've got a bit of a cold, so apologies in advance. If you'd like to hear a story, it's time to gather round. Make sure your bum's not airborne and glue it to the ground. We hope this story makes you smile. We hope you do not frown. If you'd like to hear a story, it's time to gather round. That's it, everyone. Are you sitting comfortably? Today's book is called The Cowardly Trans Femme. What do we see on the cover? That's right, it's a scared little trans femme with long curly black hair and glasses and... You think it looks like me? You think it looks like me? It doesn't look like me, honestly. Look, who are those people over to the left of them? That's right, they're protesters. What do we see on their signs? Trans flag, pride flag, Palestine flag. And who's that over there to the right? It's the police. Can we all go Nino, Nino, A-cab, A-cab? And what is the cowardly trans femme doing? She's walking, but where is she walking? To the protesters' side? To the police's side? Neither. Shall we find out more? Okay, let's open up the book and say, once upon a time. Once upon a time, there was a cowardly trans femme who was afraid of an awful lot of things for a 26-year-old. What noise does a 26-year-old make? That's right, please give me a livable wage. I have rent and student fees. They were afraid of the dark. They were afraid of diseases. Oh, look, she's Google image searching Mpox spot. How silly. Sometimes, on bad days, they were afraid of the whole world. But one thing they were especially afraid of was transphobia. Dun, dun, dun. That's why they mostly wore no makeup, no jewellery, and no dresses. Instead, they wore a scruffy old men's hoodie, like a superhero disguise, but for cowards. However, one day they decided to go to a big party called a pride parade. She went there with friends she trusted, and at first the cowardly trans femme felt brave and happy and free. But then the cowardly trans femme got stuck at the back of the march with the megaphoners. Uh-oh! What's the megaphoner saying? No borders, no nations, trans liberation. And what's this one? Bottoms, tops, we all hate cops. Oh my, that's a cheeky one, isn't it? She agreed with what they were shouting, but they were shouting it in public. And there were people watching. So the cowardly trans femme hyperventilated and hurried away to hide. Oh, cowardly trans femme. A few years later, a terrible genocide began in the Middle East. And for a while, the cowardly trans femme was too cowardly to show up for protests. Eventually, though, she put on her superhero man hoodie, found a friend she trusted, and off she went. The atmosphere at the protest felt angry, which felt right, but it also felt loving and gentle, which also felt right. But then the protest marched into the middle of a road and stopped there. Cars and buses ground to a halt and honked angrily. Beep, beep. The cowardly trans femme started to hyperventilate again. But they had to leave soon anyway. They had tickets for a play about queer polyamorous mushroom farmers. They asked their friend if she'd be okay on her own. She said yes. They hugged, and the cowardly trans femme walked away. That's when the police vans arrived. Uh-oh, they're arresting someone. What do we notice about the person they're arresting? They're very young, that's right. What else? They have dark skin, that's right. And they're trans. Yes, there's their badge there. The cowardly trans femme knew what was happening, what was going on right in front of them, with no screen between them and the horrors of the world anymore. Some protesters started pushing on the sides of the van. Some started chanting, "Let them go! Let them go!" The cowardly trans femme simply stood there, looking at their phone. The play was about to start. In moments like these, the cowardly trans femme always knew what they wished they could do, who they wished they could be. They wished they could be like the people at the Stonewall Inn in 1969, throwing cans and performing kick lines in the face of nightstick brutality. They wished they could be like the people at Cooper Donuts in 1959, flinging coffee cups to save a man from being arrested just for looking for a date. They would even settle for being like Richie from Channel 4's It's a Sin, in the bit where he leaps onto the police officer's back to save Jill. Who here has seen that show? Well, it has some pretty intense anal sequences, so I'll be having words with your parents. But the cowardly trans femme wasn't like any of those people. The cowardly trans femme was cowardly. So they didn't push on the side of the van. They didn't chant, "Let them go," and they didn't attend any more protests after that. Oh dear. They donated money here and there. They signed petitions here and there. But every time they did, they knew they should be doing more. They felt a pang of guilt every time. And that guilt kept panging for the rest of their days. And that's the end. Can we all say that together? What's wrong? Didn't we like that story? What's the moral of the story? Well, it's to be brave and to help people so you don't end up like the cowardly trans femme, haunted by guilt and feelings of inadequacy and false allyship No, I'm not the cowardly trans femme. I told you that already. Look, how about I put the bubble machine... Yes, what now? Did she go to the play? Oh, the play? No, actually. No, the cowardly trans femme didn't go to the play. Why not? They stayed at the protest. No, I didn't say that. They didn't push the van or join the chant or go to another protest after, but they stayed at this one. Well, because their friend was there. Remember, she couldn't go to these things alone on account of being a big coward. So she stayed by her friend's side until her friend was ready to leave. She said I didn't have to. I mean, she said they didn't have to. But the cowardly trans femme couldn't leave knowing their friend could be arrested too. Just couldn't. Oh, I don't know if it is brave, but I think the cowardly trans femme would appreciate you saying that. Oh, you aren't always brave enough to do things you want to. No, that's okay. We all get scared. We can't do everything. Some things are really hard, especially activism. That's why we make such a fuss over activists. They do things that are really important and really scary. Besides, all anyone can ever do is their best. Don't worry if your best isn't the same as someone else's. No, that doesn't make you cowardly. No, we don't call people cowards in real life. It's not a very nice word. The cowardly trans femme isn't real. She's just a character in a book. Yes, we can read something else now. That's the end of my piece. Thank you very much for listening and for having me here tonight, and enjoy the last two participants. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, B. I think I'm with everybody when I say just how immersed we were in that. So engaging. And what a unique approach to such an important topic that you don't often hear people address. Activism is really scary and it can be difficult to access. So it was really, really lovely exploration of that. Thank you. And everybody agrees from the comments. Evan said, oh, this is so fun. And Kate said, isn't it? Just like we're sitting on the carpet in primary school again. Becky said, excellent. Julie said, sharp, acutely observed narrative. Listen carefully and feel the truth cut through such carefully chosen words. And Kate agreed, sharp, acutely observed narrative. And brilliantly chosen words, excellent. And Jay said, love this format, B. Evan said, so incredible. Becky said, I was absolutely wrapped and totally immersed like a kid on the carpet. I was shouting along. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Brilliant. And next up, we have an award-winning writer, digital artist, and filmmaker, Jay Farley. Jay's work began as an international creative artist, fusing art and protest. Then in 2020, they discovered the language for being non-binary, and language discovered them. Since then, they've been prolifically writing honest, radical, working class poetry, and I'm just so excited for them to share their spoken word with us tonight. So please welcome Jay.
Hi everyone. Really pleased to be here with everyone. It's been fantastic hearing everyone's stuff so far. I'm a white, non-binary, short arse, we're in a kind of vintage Adidas top for my vintage years. And I've got short dark hair. And I'm about to read you some of the poems for my debut poetry book, which is coming out in the end of Feb. And I've got a book launch at Rough Trade in Liverpool on the 19th of March. So there's my little plug as well. So hopefully you'll all be there and you can buy me book and all that. Okay, here we go, everyone. Okay, this first one. The book, sorry, is called A Cupboard Full of Tomboys. And this is the first poem called Breadcrumbs. Walking past no mark, small time, small town shops, past the bookies, a jog KFC, past a closed down half post office, half pound shop, half nail salon. Some weeds bloking through where the outsourced council parks and maintenance had missed a patch of pavement with Monsanto's Roundup. Then I didn't go into a bedroom showroom, and in there I opened a cupboard. It was full of tomboys, thousands of them, all ladded in. They were all there, 2 Jones, 1 armoured, 1 poked up, Vesta, Tiny, Scout, Marlene, Jodie, Frida, May, Kate, Kay. Someone had just chucked them in there, and some had just walked in of their own accord. It stunk of sweaty socks and soil and climbed trees with shin pads, proud bruises, your dad's watch, dungarees, dirty knees. None of them were past 13 years old. Frozen in time, tomboy time, little amber inclusions, syrupped in Lucozade. I asked them how they got there. Some didn't even know they were there. Some had been lost. Some had been looking for the lost football. I saw myself in the cupboard. I pulled out my posture. It was on hangers that were meat hooks. My gender, boy MB, was sewn into the inside of a donkey jacket in case I lost it. But the jacket was too small now, and the pockets were filled with space Lego people. They spilled out and got under my feet, so it was too painful to walk like myself. A missing treasure map marked a mountain to climb, which had the same contours as my thumbprint, which had the same pattern as my DNA, which was missing. It was written in lemon, only to be seen if held to sun, but it was dark in the cupboard. I tried to find the exact moment we got there in the cupboard. No one could remember. We all amnesiaed, somnambulant. Had we been stolen, stashed, an ambush of hoydens, hijacked, or hibernating, or just like cupboards? It was all blurry. Anyway, I left the door open. Cool, thank you. Okay, moving straight on. This next one is a ghazal, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's in two parts. Missing words, they, and found words, them, about the lack of words and language and what that can do. Missing words, they. We've been erased by the lack of them. We've been stabbed, written in the back by words. We've been edited, hemorrhaging swaggers since the binary boats drank our words. We've been lettered and left limp ladies by the theft. We've been stripped, speechless, bereft of words, sank and double drowned, deleted, bewitched, dispatched and diked by words. We've been curtsied characters, crafted cute, girlied gracefully through the grapevine of words. Lives abridged, stolen bare, vowelled to vanishing by words, whispered till wenches, scripted senseless by words, heckled hens, herded histories, been paraphrased, pecked politely by words. We've been spread thinly across toasts, hipped hungry for words. I've waited 40 years, epoched by words. Life on mute, a 40 stretch, but now after my 40, I'm resurrected by words, found words, them. Dazzled by sun, staggering, transported, found, struck, wagging, all dog before walk, all Hollywood yawns, discovered. A good self-conscious gives me the nod in a shop window. I'm there, reflection delivers a smile, and together we own it, butching down the street, bouncing to my own noted beat, dusting down thirsty thoughts, looking them right in the eye. They see them, I have them, my words, because I am the words. I hold them tight, honeyed, handsome. I write them, shout, sing, spit and spill them, push them through letterboxes, sneak them onto people's shopping lists, finish people's crosswords with them, tag bus seats with them, message them in bottles, get pissed on them and wake up next to them. Thank you. This one is called Chog and the Lost Name. This tomboy lost their name on the park path, or the school field, or it just washed out in the bath. They shrugged up to me the other day, tugged at my leg. Have you seen it? They said. What? I think someone might have pinched it. Are you sure you didn't just grow out of it? No, I never. So we started to look all over, in nettles and tall grass, up the thin poplar trees, but things kept disappearing, one at a time. One time, a whole school just turned into dandelions and bindweed. I said, can you remember the last time you had it? Dunno, sobbing now. Maybe when my mum called me in for my tea. The tears started to wash them away, a salty watercolour. I tried to paint them back to life, but there was a binary brewing, and the wind lifted the poor kid off the ground. I held on tight, landed. About 40 years later, wet and bedraggled, the kid gone. I found a new name on my jacket. Thank you. This is the last one now. It's called Woman, and it's kind of about like when you become, or like when you realise you're non-binary, and then it's like, what do you do with the woman after all those years? So number one, what do you do with the woman? Does she step politely into the 6-foot hole like a bath, one leg at a time, from where I dug out my boy? Lay her to rest with dignity, cover her, throw the last handful of soil with a single tear, then press the mound with the back of my little plastic spade, crouched, with a satisfying sandcastle pat? Or will her fingers and hand push through, with menacing strings playing with each? Hello, young lady. Jolted back to life, Frankenstein's bride, with soiled face, second-hand wig, with those compromised culottes I wore at Lee Mitchell's wedding, all scragged. 2. She's still there, not in biceps but lips, not in shaven head but moon. Sorry, not in shaven head but shaven legs, not in sleeve tampax but bitter cramps, sinking with moon, not swagger but pay grade, not bloke banter but male gaze, not fastening top shirt button but wearing a bra, not being afraid but crossing over, not in pints with the lads but in being forced by one later, in trying not to give a fuck, in taking the pill the morning after. She's still there, not in the mirror, but the silhouette. 3. Should I extract her, eject a seat, purged tweezer, teased splintered curve, operate remembering birthdays with scalpel, careful not to damage grafted tree memories, draw out gentle touch with salt? The kind one, is that her? A friend of Daisy's, or bad memory, bad tattoo, her power tools? I'm not sure, is that it? We part ways. Will I let in water after I sieve her and hang her out to dry? Still waterproof? Do I say goodbye now, or return on a drying day, unpeg her? She's strong though, I know that's her, lugging round life in an old battered suitcase, up Parbold Hill like a knackered Wigan Sisyphus, in case I ever need to see what baggage I have, open up. She never says no, asks how you are, doesn't complain, not expected to. Been through a lot together, friends forever, thanks for the memories. But it's both of us that hold up our fist, a feminist, with other women, if they'll have me. Or should I coat hanger what's left of me? Shut the door. Thank you. Hope that was okay, everyone. I'll put in the chat about where you can get my book and that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jay. That was absolutely fantastic. Got such a boss way of playing with language and describing all those things that like it's so hard to put to words, and you're just like you're just saying it. So thank you so much. It's just echoed in the chat as well. Lots of people just putting those phrases in that you put in that are so incise. Evan also said that they said syrup in Lucozade is so good, and later they said that the rhythm is just delicious and that they adored it. Becky said, "Wowza, heartbroke and lovely." B said, "Excellent, so many beautiful sharp phrases in all of these, Jay." And Julie said, "Loving these poems, very emotive, being erased and bereft by words. You are so right. Words are so powerful, and their absence is even more so, which I properly agree with." And Kate said, "So musical and rhythmic and bopping along happily." I'm sure you all will be keen to get hold of Jay's book, A Cupboard Full of Tomboys, so we'll make sure that we get the link out to you. Thank you so much. And now, without further ado, I'm really buzzing to introduce our final act of the evening, Harddeep Singh. Harddeep is a British Punjabi freedom fighting emo king. Alongside their work as an artist, they also do incredible work as an activist and community organizer. I've been lucky enough to see bits of their work, and I'm just so excited for you all to experience their creativity. So please welcome Hardeep Singh.
Thank you so much, Marcy, and thank you for having me tonight. It's been so beautiful and actually really emotional, in like the best way. I think it's very rare to kind of feel seen and heard at events, and so yeah, I really appreciate everyone sharing tonight. Also, thank you for all of the attention and intention with accessibility. Again, that's not something which, you know, it should be the case, but it's not always the case that it is the intention. So I just want to share my appreciation, and for Cheryl, who's on BSL. So yeah, I mean, I'm a drag king. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I forgot, for instance, that I had a drag face on, which I put on just for y'all tonight. I just came from a self-defense class, and I did the self-defense class in drag, and yeah, I don't know. It was quite an experience. I think maybe I'll do that again. But yeah, so I wanted to share a little bit about my embodiment as a Punjabi disabled brown working class person, trans mask, and really, to be honest, to celebrate something which has allowed me to access joy, which it feels like there's so much, you know, I don't know if I'm sad that I can't see the audience, because I'm not sure if there are Black, brown, racialized people in the room. If there is, I'm here with you, and yeah, just I I I went through a little bit of a time of feeling really bad, is an understatement. Mental health crises, bad, physically, spiritually, not great. And I realized I wasn't making space for joy, and thus began my drag journey. I saw a little course happening in Liverpool, which Marcy, I don't know if you heard about it, but it was at TWT. And I thought, I'm going to go there because I need to rebuild my confidence and learn how to take up space and hear my voice again. So I went and did this drag course, and I met Harddeep Singh, and I'm so grateful to him. I'm so grateful to him because he has allowed me to grow again. I had shrunk into a tiny little pea. And yeah, as a community organizer, it's hard to sustain the movement and movement building. So yeah, I wanted to share a video with you tonight. Before I do, I just want to actually hark back. I don't know if Becky is still on the call. You said something about being a lost sock, and I just wanted to share that the last week I went as a lost sock for a drag show in Leeds. We need to talk. I really can't wait to talk to you, Becky, sometime. I was so moved by everything that you said, everything that everyone said. But yeah, so I will leave you with this. This is a homage to art as expression, to us putting our pain into something that isn't just like inside where it hurts us more, and yeah, to collective care. There'll be just some content warnings. There'll be talk of colonization, racial violence. There'll also be some footage which moves quickly from one video to the next, which I find difficult visually sometimes. And also the start of the video has me talking over background music, which I know can be difficult for anyone with auditory processing difficulties. So difficulties. It's a curious word for me there. But yeah, hope you enjoy the video. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, nice to meet you all.
Hello, hello. My name is Parminder Kaur, or Harddeep Singh. Actually, in drag, I pronounce it Harddeep Singh, with the double Ds. Today, I want to talk about what it means to me to be a queer trans sick person. And I'm going to do that whilst I'm putting on a really quick drag face. It's it's not been an easy journey, you know, being bent and that. Actually, I'm filming this in my childhood bedroom in the exact spot that I came out to my sister 17 years ago. I've known I'm queer since I was really little, like 4 years old. I've always felt like a proper weirdo, disposable and different. I was 9 when I was taught how to thread my eyebrows, my moustache, and how to shave my arms. I wanted to fit in with the other kids, and later with white Western beauty standards. But thankfully my sister took it well, and that, paired with my sick foundations, gave me all the courage that I needed to explore who I am and be myself. Since coming out, I've been on a journey to find and build safe community, and I'm so grateful to say that I have a bit of that now. I found it at the Gurdwara with the aunties who are teaching me how to make round roti, and with fellow queer and trans people who love my bloody bushy eyebrows. They're looking great, Hardeep. It's a bit wonky, but don't worry about it. And building community away from horrible shit like prisons, police, ethno-supremacy, heteropatriarchy and capitalism. It's through all that I've learned gender is a performance. And none of it matters except the truth, which is Waheguru. Drag has allowed me to explore all of this in a creative, subversive way. It's allowed me to express feelings denied to me, for example, rage, masculinity, femininity and joy. It's also helped me feel comfortable taking up space and being okay with my lumpy body and my mad brain. After years of being told it's ugly, to shrink and be invisible. As Hardeep would say, fuck that. This isn't always what I had planned for this. I had wanted to film Harddeep Singh's wedding. I had all the outfits planned, but life doesn't always go that way. At the end of summer, I lost a friend. They are a queer, trans, sick person too. We connected after they reached out showing love for my drag. Since hearing the news, I haven't felt like creating anything, or doing much of anything at all really. I did film some stuff, but in the end it all went missing. The video got corrupted, the camera broke. So guess what? I'm taking the hint. This is a celebration. A celebration of what it means to be a queer, trans, sick person. Of our joy and our existence. Are you ready, Hardeep? Well, not quite. Well, I've got a message for you while you're putting your bindi on. I love you. You reconnected me to my faith, to myself. You saved my life. Look at him. Handsome bastard. Right, come on, let's go watch some of your best bits. And go and put some bloody trousers on. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten and the damned? He said, will you defeat them, your demons and all the non-believers, the plans that they have made? Because one day I'll leave you a phantom to lead you in the summer to join the Black Parade. Sometimes I get the feeling she's watching over me, and other times I feel like I should go. And through it all, the rise and fall, the violence in the streets. And when you're gone, we want you all to know we'll carry on, we'll carry on. And though we are broken and defeated, you're really with
Thank you so much for sharing that, Hardy. I don't know about everyone else, but my heart's like whew, pounding. It's really like I don't know, it's just put the fire in me, if you know what I mean. So really, really gorgeous. Thank you so much. And I love that you like welcomed us into your practice and catching a glimpse of your performances. I know we're all dying to get to a Harddeep Singh show ASAP. And I can see it's reflected by everybody else. Evan said they loved how you played with the font and how beautiful the video was. And they also said you have an incredible presence on stage. Julie said, excellent films and thank you. Activism writ large, so strong. Evan said, so powerful. I have goosebumps. Becky said, so sick and powerful. B said, it's been building up all night and that's tipped it. I'm tearing up. And maybe most importantly, Jay said, handsome AF. And I think we all have to agree with that. So with that, we've all reached the end of our LGBT History Month cabaret. Thank you all so much for joining us and being such a support of our audience for our absolutely amazingly talented artists. I'd like to just say a massive thank you to Cheryl, our BSL interpreter, and Norma, our captioner, who've both been brilliant throughout this process. I'd also like to thank Arts Council England, Regard, and the National Lottery Community Fund, alongside Jude Gosling and the entire Together 2012 team for their support. And finally, once more, just a massive thank you to Evan Gwen, B Jones, Becky Downing, Jay Farley, Hardeep Singh, and every single one of you who has enjoyed their performances with us tonight. Please do have a look at them online, go and follow them on social media. And if you can, please do fill out our survey, which we will send to you all. And it might pop up automatically when the Zoom ends. We would love to know your thoughts on the night. Until next time, happy LGBT History Month, everybody. I hope you have a really gorgeous rest of your night.